Welcome everyone to the evening's webinar about with the topic how OKRs can drive your startup success. It could be even interesting if you're not in startup, but sometimes you work in part of small organizations that you feel that you're part of big organization, but still you act as startup. So today I, Prokashanov and Dmitry, will share our knowledge about this topic. Just briefly, I will start about me. I'm working as staff agile coach and delivery hero. It's Berlin, Germany. Also, together with Dmitry, a partner in Executon company. I'm originally from Kiev, live in Berlin, as I already put in the chat. Yeah, and I have one cat and one kid.
And my name is Dima. I'm a partner in Executon together with Yegor, also originally from Ukraine. Last 2 years live in Copenhagen, Denmark. And I have 2 kids, 1 dog. Actually, also I have a cat who is in Kiev right now. Yeah.
Yes, it's about us a bit.
Yeah.
We work. Right. So we work together with Dmitry. Here's just some photo from one of the events, and we work in one company. But you can see we work with different companies across this Europe, not yet in States. Different kind of big companies, small companies, many of workshops. Demo also set up a nice OKR accelerator. Also, Dima is part of OKR mentors, and we also mostly by Dima, but I just recently joined try this strategy execution OKR Beyond, quite big meetup group. Yeah, so just a bit of us, and we have worked together. Our partner is Oboard, so they provide. Next slides, I can give a bit more. OKRs software, one of the best, if not the best. I think it's number one in Jira marketplace. So maybe here, Margo, you can say a few words about Oboard.
Absolutely. I'm Margo. I'm a product marketing manager at Oboard. We are providing top-notch OKR software for Jira, Confluence, Salesforce, and also we are having an independent OKR platform. We're in the market for 6 years in more than 100 countries with more than 3,000 customers. You can see some of the logos behind, and you can see the top countries marked in the blue color, where we have the majority of our customers. On the next slide, I would like to show what I'm very proud of. Igor, please move. So this is an Atlassian marketplace. This is where we originally appeared. And if you go there, if you search for OKRs, you would see that we are #1 app, the best one with the best review rating, with the highest number of installs. So I definitely recommend trying it. And I saw that some of the people put in the chat that you are from the US. We're actually coming to the Atlassian conference, Atlassian Team Anaheim in April in the United States. So drop me a message if you be there. Would be very happy to meet you in person.
Thank you, Margot. Right, let's go next. Yeah, just briefly an agenda. What I will speak about with touch topics. So you can see strategy with OKRs, what is focus, lean OKRs and OKR cycle. But what we will do differently is the topic about startups. So on each of these topics, we will see how, for example, how we apply focus in OKRs in regular company versus how we do it in startup, and same for all these topics. So we're just trying to look at this from the lens and perspective as startup. And of course, we couldn't start a webinar just speak a lot. We would like to engage you as we will move. In the first such engagement, we would like to, I will share the link to the chat. Would like to know from which type of company are you. So if you're a coach or if you're employee, so on which type of company you work right now? Is it startup? Is it just small company, mid-sized company, or maybe some big enterprise? I will send the link and you can just put the dot. So I want to see how many people actually joined from startups. Here it is.
What is interesting is that different companies actually define startup quite in a different way. When we talk about startups, some mean really small companies, but some startups have kind of multi-million funding. So it's not always easy to define what is a startup.
As we have people on the 2 different types of scales, startup versus big enterprise. I think, Dima, we put the right slides. We will compare different.
Yeah, but it's good that we also have people from startups because this is the topic, yes, for today's workshop.
Cool, let's start. I think we
But
can
maybe
move.
before we move on, Igor, I think it would be nice also maybe to hear some voice in the, not only our voice, but of our participants. So especially we are interested to hear for the ones who put themselves in the startup, what is you see the biggest challenge with the goal setting in your company? Yeah, I think it would be a good linkage to our workshop. Anyone would like to share? What is the biggest challenge or challenges with goal setting in startups for the ones who put in startup?
How to measure the outcome.
Yeah, okay. How to measure the
Yeah.
outcome. Thank you, Etta.
Yeah, because it's easy
Yeah.
to set it up, and then at what point do you go back and measure?
Yeah, okay, good. I wonder if we need to bring some slides from previous webinar where we had the talk between leading and lagging indicators. So this is exactly where we addressed it, that sometimes it's difficult to measure the outcomes and you need some leading indicators where you know the correlation between them and outcomes. Yeah, I think we have actually recording, Margot, so maybe we can put in the chat of the previous one, I think, where we discussed about check-in.
Thank you.
Victor?
Okay. So from our side, I would like to raise the biggest challenge that to define the right goal, which is not too much ambition, but it's not the output-oriented goal. So to find some kind of balance between the ambitions and the reality, because when the goal is not fit to reality of your company, it will be really difficult to reach this goal. And it can be a big disappointment for the team, or vice versa, the outcome will be super small.
And I think this
So
is
to
where we
set
will
the
talk
right
about
goal for the right people.
I think this is what we will talk about the OKR cycle, Igor, I think, like to have a short period of hypothesis check.
Yeah,
Cool.
and also
Okay.
it's like always a balance. You want like to find the goals that it's like achievable, but you still sometimes you want to a bit stretch and put the bar high. So yeah, it's like an art to find the right way of going.
Let's move on. So good. This was an intro part. Before we jump, let's just align on what are the OKRs so we understand them more or less in the same way before we discuss how they can help your startup. So yeah, if I bring everyone to me, then we will do an exercise all together very quickly. So OKRs stands for objective and key results, but also there is third part, initiatives. Yeah, so it's not only objective and key results. And we have three areas, the green one, which is answer the question, and we have three stickers here. So what I would like to ask you is that you grab one of the stickers, for example, this one, and then you think, this is for objective. Oh no, maybe this is for result of initiative. So we need to put this green stickers into green areas. Then we have key attributes, a yellow area, and you have stickers to the right, and then you see actionable. Is it for key result, objective, or initiative? So you put it here. And then we have one example of the OKR. Yeah, improve the quality of our chatbot service. Is it objective? Is it key result? Or is it initiative? So let's do all together. So just grab any sticker that you think you know where to place, and let's place it together. Cool, super. Yeah, so almost everything is right, but let's go through it. So yeah, objective is answer what do we want to accomplish? What's the change we would like to make, significant change we would like to achieve? The result is saying how we will know we have achieved the objective, how we will know we have made this change. And then initiative, what exactly we will be doing. There are more key attributes to each of the part of the OKRs, but this one's one of the keys. So objective is inspiring. Yeah, it should motivate and inspire us. It should be aligned with the company's mission, vision, and strategy. If you are in a big company, then it probably will be aligned with the department's strategy. And what I'm missing here is actually qualitative. So it's not a key result, but more an objective, because the key result is quantitative. So key result should be measurable, verifiable. So it's quantitative and can be metric, baseline, or milestone. But usually we would like to have key results as the outcomes, the ones that are describing the value, the change in behavior that drive business value. And they will be not a milestone, but more a metric, where we change from X to Y by some percentage. And initiatives actionable, contain the solution, and the example you got right. So improve the quality of our chatbot service. This is what we want to achieve. How will we know that the quality has improved? One of the key results is the average number of errors per conversation reduced by 50%. And what we will do, one of the initiatives is the feedback mechanism, and so on and so on. Cool. So this is the beauty also of OKRs. It's easy to understand, yes, them, but what is hard is actually to implement them in the right way in the company and also to embed it into the culture. Good. So what we are going to do today, we are going to talk about startups. So to make it less theoretical and more practical, we will do it on a startup Gem Hive. This is not a real startup. It's the one that Yegor's and mine imagination invented. So this is a virtual jamming platform where musicians from around the world can sync up and play together in real time with ultra low latency. Yeah. Probably there are already such things, but let's imagine that, yeah, we would like to, we have this idea and we would like to build around this idea. Two parts, what is important is investment status. So we are bootstrapped, we are applying for grants, we don't have any external funding yet. We are getting traction in online music communities. And then the team is a small team of 3 co-founders, the driving force, a musician, an audio tech expert, and then backend engineer who is super crazy about ultra low latency. Then we have a UX designer who is making it feel like a real jam session. And then we have marketing lead and at the same time community manager, who is trying to increase the marketing presence and number of subscribers. And then we also have a biz dev partnership colleague who is working with other labels, with communities, etc. So this is a startup that we will have in mind when we talk about how to make it successful. Not just to make it a bit more concrete and not hypothetical. And also when you ask questions, you can ask, oh, but what in Gem Hive, how would they do? And then just a bit about startup. We have helped few startups with strategy execution and OKRs in the bio industry and also in the hardware industry. And startups, they have some financial cycle, investment cycles, and the ones who are working with startups, but let's just very quickly describe it so we understand, because with some of the investment, actually, OKRs can help, and this is what we see from our experience. So at the beginning, usually it's valley of death, because revenue, you don't have revenue, you have a negative revenue. So the founding team is to not have proper salaries. They are sitting somewhere in small corner in the house or in the garage and trying to make a success out of Gem Hive. But like with more traction they get in the market, hopefully they will start to get some investment, or maybe they will not even get need investment. Yes, maybe they will start to get money from subscriptions and from their monetization models. But we are here. Yes, we are just in let's say in the valley of death. And if startup look for investment, then there are some rounds of investment. There is a pre-seed, then there is a seed, then there is series A, B, C, D, and so on. And usually the next series might be like an X factor in money. Yes, if series A is 5 millions, then series B might be 50 millions, and so on. So it's really increasing the amount of money you can get into the investment. We have some participants that are in startups. Anyone would like to add anything? We don't want to have a webinar around this life cycle of startups, but we just would like to bring it to everybody. We are on the same page when we talk how OKRs can help with some aspects of the investment and other things. So this is let's keep Gem Hive in our mind when we talk about OKRs.
Okay, there we go. The first next topic is about strategy. Let me bring everybody to me. And the question to you, do you want to ask, what do you think? So how important is to outline like vision and strategy for startup, or we just need to just get things done and need to work and get results? Or do we need both? Is it important to have clear vision and strategy for startups? We just can go and
see, it's
work.
not a typical webinar where speakers are just talking and you listening. We would like you to work as well and talk.
You can also drop a message in the chat.
Yeah.
What is in just
I guess both of everything is important, vision and strategy, and also just get started. Don't wait a lot.
Mhm.
so definitely for startup we need a vision strategy, but we don't need to strategize for a year while living on the investors' money.
Yeah, but why we brought this question? Because I at least had an experience that we don't need any strategy. No, we have this idea. Let's move on. Let's work. We need just to work 24/7 and make it done. Yeah, and these cases, I usually say no. Probably you need also a strategy, and because you might have a lot of ideas, but what are the top ones you actually would like to test the hypothesis on? And not just spread your energy. Yes. So yeah, in our view, strategy is the key even for startup in the garage. Not only to work like a crazy, but actually also have a long-term view on where you would like to be.
Yeah, exactly. So with that, if like vision and mission is important, so the next layer is usually it's strategy to connect to its like vision mission, like usually some statement or just one pager, and strategy is a bit more clear document what exactly we need to do, which choices, which direction we need to go. And like the next level would be, it's not always OKRs, but like our recommendation, of course, we've been about OKRs, so we think OKRs is the right tool to go after the strategy to start to like execute. And of course, the last thing is like tactics. So then to like some initiative, actions, project, whatsoever. So yeah, I think it doesn't matter if you work in the big companies we have seen or in startup, like all four should be in some way or another be present.
So yeah, and the key also is that OKRs. You will talk about it.
Yeah, so it's next slide. So if you just have a strategy, and it could be on like strategy, like okay, it's like a lot of things we can do, like go there, go here, it can be like feel like a mess, and you can actually like to complement each other, have a strategy, and then you have more even more clear and more detailed objectives and also key results how to get there, how you can measure. And just a few words about strategy. So again, it's not about a strategy, but maybe we need to do one. So it should be super clear, actionable, and also measurable. And that is why pairs work well then, because measurable is key results, actionable is then you have like tactics projects, and clear is like objective. And here's the reason like 95% of employees don't understand the company strategy. So I remember like in one company it was they have like pick and score just every 3 months asking about different areas about organizations work well from the office salary, but also like is strategy clear. And remember like it was always low score until like leadership started to repeat strategy, I don't know, every month on every all hands to improve. So it's quite hard. All right, that is just a good definition. What is a strategy? It's I think you may mention it's somebody from OKR's mentor. So like strategy is a hypothesis expressed as a series of choices. So you, as I said, like direction hypothesis that we need to test quickly and then refine it about with OKRs. So to show you still very good connection between strategy and OKRs too. They work together. Connecting back to startup. So usually when you have a startup and you like go and speak with investors, you kind of have this data room checklist. It could be short data room version and also extended. And like in short, it could be like of course pitch deck, product demo, some financials, team and roles, cap table. But also what could be useful is to also add OKRs and to share with potential investors that you clear like direction, clear how to measure that you go in the right direction. So it could be give them some confidence in what you're doing. It's in short that just I wanted to summarize that still if you like startup, and sometimes when you work in startup, you feel like you have a lot of things to do and main direction to go. Vision, mission, and strategy is a key.
And OKRs are supplementing strategy. Yes, as Igor mentioned, it's not that they replacing it. You need still and like strategic analysis, maybe of your competitors, of market, of your users base, and then OKRs can bridge the gap between strategy and tactics. And
like different flight levels. So like you go like higher, 10,000 meters, so like vision mission you see like then you like level 2, it's strategy, and like level 3 closer to the ground, it's OKRs.
Usually there is a good response from investors when they see OKRs because it's measurable and clear. So strategic slide deck might be quite a big one, but then OKRs, you have few of them which are actually in a good, concise language describing what exactly we are trying to achieve, let's say, in the coming quarter. Good. So it was about the strategy, which is also important for the startup, and that OKRs can link your strategy and the tactic, what you're doing every day. The next thing we would like to talk about is the focus. So again, we are in Gem Hive, yes, startup, and probably this very creative team has a lot of ideas on what they should do and what they can do. Yeah, like, and AI is everywhere now. Yes. Oh, let's add AI about auto-tune and mixing live jams. Or let's create a marketplace so people can go there and, for digital music collabs. Maybe let's develop a feature for live stream jams. Or what about Latin America? Let's focus on this. Let's localize to these languages, etc. Oh, maybe we should create TikTok style music jam. It's and etc. So it's a lot of great ideas because like the vision is clear. They would like to create this super cool service for musicians to sync up online, and ultra low latency is also part of their vision. That it look and feel like a real session. But then there are a lot of ideas on how to get there. And what OKRs can help startup with is actually to force this founding team or the entire startup team to think, okay, what the hypothesis they would like to check in the upcoming cycle. And we will talk about cycle later, but yeah, usually let's say in upcoming months or in an upcoming quarter. Because as I really like this quote from Warren Buffett, the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. And this is a picture from Essentialist book. If you haven't read it, then yeah, recommend. But actually this picture describes it. Just looking at this picture, you can say you have read the book. Yeah, Essentialist, as Warren Buffett says no to almost everything and focus on what they think they would like to pursue. Yeah, and again, this is hypothesis, but if you pursue it only this thing, you will learn super fast if it's the right thing to pursue or not. Yeah, and if you have a lot of ideas in our Gem Hive, trying everything, you will succeed a bit in everywhere. How the OKR can for Gem Hive look like? So let's say then what you usually do, then you take everybody. If it's startup, I would recommend take everybody in the room in front of whiteboard. If it's online, then okay, in terms of in front of online whiteboard mirror, and discuss, okay, what the biggest change we would like to achieve in the coming period, let's say quarter. And then let's say we did it in Gem Hive, and they say, okay, we would like to become the go-to platform for real-time music collaboration among indie musicians. Yeah, so they love indie music, and they just think, okay, let's just focus on this niche. Yeah, it would be easier. It would be easier for our biz dev, for marketing, for communication, just to target one niche. And also we focus on real-time music collaboration. So yeah, we probably will skip all these TikTok ideas, a live stream, etc. So we focus on smaller things because we have limited resources in our startup. And then how will we know that we have actually achieved this objective, becoming the go-to platform? And then this is where the key results play a role. And then like one of the key results, increase weekly active musicians from 5,000 to 15,000. So we already have a good base, yes. And then we think, okay, if by looking at the competitors, if we will be 15,000 weekly active musicians, it looks like we will be the go-to platform. Then we know we have a problem with session dropout rate because of the latency or audio stability. So we'd like to change this. If we would not have this problem, we would not put a key result. Yeah, so key result is something we would like to change. And then we decided to focus on the premium subscriptions to keep the lights on and actually get the money for all the infrastructure costs we pay ourselves, also for the time we spend, etc. And the recommendation is to have no more than 2 OKRs on one level. Igor will talk more about levels. Ideally, even one. But if you look at also investment, if you're such a startup that also look at investment for external funding, then you can have the second OKR just for investment. And this is a real example of one of the startups that we helped. So it got already Series A funding, and then they looked for Series B. This was in high tech hardware. And one of the key results was to express, one of the OKRs was to express what we need kind of to achieve in order to get this Series B funding. Yeah, and you can see this actually forced the collaboration with existing investor and potential investors, which was really great. So because we started not to put assumptions, but we wanted to check it, make a reality check. Yeah, and then we got the messages like, okay, if your projected revenue with the machines that you're already building is more than 10 million euro, if you have sold already 10 machines A, because the startup worked on machine A, but then they also have an idea of machine B and then machine C, but we focused on machine A only. Again, we cannot focus on everything. And then, of course, machine is great. It was like a nanofabricator that can, on atom precise layer, put on microchips different gases, like metals and gases. And it's not enough to solve the machine. You also would like to have some application of this machine. So if you can do, I don't know, print some microchip on the glasses, and then you can, I don't know, like a Google Glasses, see something, or you can print it on some on a cup, yes, and have some, I don't know, visual on it, etc. This forced into great conversations with investors, yes, like what would it take us to get the Series B funded, and then we put it into OKR, and it was super clear what to focus on. So we had two OKRs. One is about funding, about investment, and the second OKR is about the product, the MVP. Yeah, what exactly we would like to do with machine A, what the killer application we would like to try it out. Any questions to the focus and how OKRs can help with the focus?
I have a question. When you say objective, is there a language or way that we formulate the objective in a best way?
So one of the tips that I always give is to have a verb in infinitive form. So it's not like a statement. For example, let's say increase quality of our product. This might be an objective. So a good tip is to start with a verb always. Increase, become, be, amplify, etc. Because objective should be action oriented. Yes, so it should drive us to do some action. And then a short, concise statement, which ideally inspires you or the team to work on it. You can also see it like a newspaper header. When you read a newspaper header, which is catchy and like, oh, nice, so what this article about. So you would like to have this objective. When team looks at it, they understand, oh, yeah, we need to do it, become number one in Latin America or something like that.
But it also shouldn't be like concise and short, but it shouldn't be too general. So like, for example, like in this example, you see become to go play like for real time. So you understand, okay, it's for real time. So like low latency, like indie musicians. So you also like segment it for segmentation. So it should be also clear and a bit more specific what exactly you want to achieve, not to make like 3 words, be the best in the world. It could be inspiring, but it doesn't tell you what exactly you want to achieve.
Yeah, thank you. Do you see a connection between objective and, like, we can say, milestones in the startup, like expansion or whatever development I can say?
Yeah. So this actually might be one of the objectives. So if you're at the stage right now where next milestone for your startup will be expansion in some market, and you understand this is the key to focus on, then you can put an objective about it, expand into, I don't know, Europe or Northern America, or I don't know, in UK, and then you brainstorm what it will mean. Yeah, and then one of the key results will be increase user base in this market, I don't know, by 1,000 people, something like that. Yes, and then maybe some other key results. And then when you have this key result, this will be a basis for your brainstorming on initiatives. What exactly you will do to get 1,000 users. Yeah. And then you can say, oh, we need to do marketing campaign. Oh, we need to approach this famous company and make a partnership with them, or we need to be viral in social media, and etc., etc. Then you can brainstorm on many ways of what exactly you will do in order to achieve this key result, which hopefully will bring you to the objective. So milestone in the growth of the startup can be just an objective for this period that will drive the focus of entire team.
Yeah, that's maybe I refer to your first question at the beginning, that what difficulties people see in a startup or in companies with the OKR is this definition of vision, mission, goals, objective, milestones, story mapping, and all these things. This is really important. I feel that if the team exists, a startup usually start with nobody, start with first with one or two. If the team exists, especially enterprise companies that they have a lots of time and resources, it's really good to sit together and define it and understand it. What do you mean by goal? What do you mean by objective? What is vision? What is strategy?
Yes, it's a topic for another webinar. Yeah, what I always try to say when we work with companies, don't be too nuanced about this difference between objective and goal, etc. There are differences, but just objective is what we would like to achieve, what's the change we would like to make. Yes, key results, and how will we know initiatives, what we will actually do. Vision, something big, where we would like to be in 5, 10, 20 years. Strategy, what are the big directions to achieve this vision. So I'm more for simple explanations and not very nuanced, etc. So people just have an understanding what is that and move on.
Thank you.
Good.
Right.
Okay, and
Let's
thank you,
move on.
Mehdi.
All right, so Dimo promised that we will speak a bit about OKRs hierarchy. Let's put it like this. And first, before we go to startups, what about like hierarchy in the usual company, like in the big or like mid-sized companies? From your experience, so we know people here is from mid-sized and big companies. What types of OKRs you have? Like on which levels? How many levels of OKRs you have in your company? Is it like just one level, 2, 3? Okay, maybe nobody uses OKRs yet. They came to the webinar to learn about it. Yeah, but usually, from our experience, at least, here's right, Mark. So you have like company, usually OKRs at least, and then it cascades to department and then to team. And by the way, it's ideal scenario. Usually it's much more nuanced, even more ways than 3. So we just put it even simple one. Company, tribes, squads, like similar, like three levels of OKRs. Exactly. We can name it differently, like department or tribe. What do you think? If you remember, we have this gem hive, like a few people working together. How many OKRs levels do they need working in that garage, in the startup garage? Do they need also 3 levels, maybe 4, 5?
Being stressed because they're actually.
Sorry, Maru, can you repeat?
Yeah, or maybe 2 if you are in your mother's or father's garage, so you need OKRs for.
Okay, somebody's also like 2 levels. Yeah, I would say 1 level if for the like gem hive with just, I don't know how many people, 6 people there.
Yeah.
So one level is enough. It's also answering your question, like maybe we need to start with simplicity to the startup to make it a bit more lean. But also sometimes, as Dima has shown, like financials, you go from different rounds, you get more money. You in the moment that you started to grow and hire more people and build, so actually start to scale up. So a startup becomes scale up. You maybe have like already 2 teams, so maybe more coordination. So maybe at some point of time, you will need maybe 1 more OKR level. So maybe you can have now a company one and then 4 different maybe teams. I don't know, but still would be our advice as here like Gendel. So when somebody brings, see, let's do 1 more layer. So just you shall not pass. So you need to push back as much as possible and like resist to the last moment, because more layers, it give you some structure and some control, but it also creates some friction as well between and competing objectives, competing key results. Yeah, so it also can slow you down a bit. You need to align more between 2 different objectives, maybe compete for the financials or for the budget, start to compete as well. Try to resist as much as possible for over engineering for the hierarchy. So it was like more vertical alignment. Let's speak about horizontal alignment. And by that I mean, so usually a company have different functions. So now you have sales, product, engineering, maybe design. So you can have some different functions. And of course, some of them are meshed together into the team. And the question is, how is also for those people who use OKRs, do you have OKRs defined for specific function, like OKRs for sales, we have OKRs for marketing, OKRs for product, OKRs for engineering? How is usually organized in your organization? Or we have just one OKR?
The same for both big companies and smaller startup. They should have OKRs on different function area.
Yeah, that is all. I don't know, like, yes, they have it. I'm not sure that it always should be like this. It's a good approach. So yeah, so usually you have like different OKRs and sometimes they per function, not aligning together. And the problem, I understand, it's easier for people. You need less alignment between departments. So sales can align between sales and product, between product and engineering can focus on their lovely technical metrics and remove like push latency from 500 millisecond to 100 millisecond, etc. But there are some downside for that. So for example, misalignment priorities. So we start to have local optimization. So each department locally optimize like sales for sales, and it could harm the product, or I don't know, marketing, for example, and vice versa. Like engineering can optimize just for them without taking into account the business problems or product problems to solve, etc., etc. Conflicting also in incentives, silos, and lack of collaboration. So if you have different objectives for different functions, there is no incentive to collaborate and work together, because I need to close my deals, not to help you with understanding how the product works or what is the problem we want to solve. And also like slow decision making. What do you think how it should be in startup? We have this lovely different people. We have 3 co-founders, musician, one designer, 1 marketing lead and community manager, and 1 biz dev and partnership. Do they need for each of them their personal OKRs?
Just keep it simple. I mean, they can have, but it should be very much simple, connected.
Exactly. So just should be like one team working together. So there is no time to have many different and conflicting objectives. And there is no need to create any silos. And with that, if everybody contributes, they can like faster execution and clear visibility. And Dim already provided an example. With that, different people from different like functions can contribute and help. And so answer our recommendation for the startup, especially like small one, the best would be definitely. We even recommend the same for the big companies as well. Even it's harder as much as possible, where it's possible, to align at these few functions, maybe product and engineering together, or product and business together to organize, or product and design. So maybe they can have some separate personnel, but still there should be some united objectives and key results. So we work together.
Let's move on. So the OKR cycle. So when we say cycle, it's like a period for which we define the OKRs, a time period. So how often do mid and large-sized organizations set and review OKRs? Maybe you can share in your companies, or how you think it's usually. What is the time period? You can put in the chat, or you can just voice out. Is it a month? Is it a quarter? Is it a year? What is the time period usually in the mid and large-sized organizations? On a mid, large-size organization, on the department level, it's a yearly OKRs, annual OKRs. So you're right, like on company level. If it's a big department, then a department can be annual OKRs. And the shortest period probably will be a quarter OKRs. And it will be on teams level. For example, like was shared in the chat, company tribe squads. So squads probably will define on quarter. There is no silver bullet time period. You decide depending on the context in what you operate. But the most typical one on team level is a quarter. And of course, it means slow adjustments when it's a long period, because change require multiple approvals. Oh, we already set OKRs for this year. Let's revise them next year, etc. So it's not really a very adaptive. And then for startups, on what duration of OKR cycle would you set in GemHive? Major milestones like we discussed here, MAD. So if your next milestone is expand to something or grows, then this might be okay. if this milestone, let's say in half a year, we would still recommend not to put half a year, but actually break it down into smaller steps. So our recommendation in terms of cycle, OKR cycle, is to have maximum quarter and minimum monthly. Because startups operate in high level, uncertain environment, a lot of things are changing. So most likely what you have defined it might change in nearest future. Quarterly is a max, and maybe even monthly if you would like to adapt more quickly. And of course, you should be have a pivot ready mindset. If something does not work, you just adjust fast. You can just, I don't know, if you see that OKRs do not right one, you get some knowledge, you stop them and you define a new ones. Don't be a slave of the tool. Like, oh no, we have OKR, we need to finish it, and then we will define new one. No, if you know it doesn't make sense, you stop it and start new one. In startup, survival quite often depends on the speed because there is a highly competitive environment. Good. So it was an OKR cycle, monthly or quarterly, no longer. And then Igor, this one.
Yes. And I think we start to put this together. Like the last one is putting together also about tools. So we spoke about importance of the strategy, still and vision strategy, cycles, different levels of alignment. And just to summarize, we need to keep it simple. So maybe no more than 2 OKRs. Maybe one you can focus on the financial health and get investment so you can proceed. That is always important. But second one, you can focus on the product. So then you can balance and work on a few things on 2 OKRs max, but no more. Keep it short, as Timo just mentioned. Maybe no longer than quarter, no less than a month, because less than a month also doesn't make much sense. It will be more administrative work than actually focusing on the right things. Still, like also weekly check-in to keep the pulse during the cycles. Always respect every cycle, even if like monthly, you don't need to do it 2 hours or many hours, but like some short check for an hour so we can improve the next one. Keep it lean. So one level of OKRs more than enough. So everybody can contribute to this with their initiatives and projects. Cross-functional, it should be one level and we'll focus on the different functions on the same objective or the same objectives. In regards to the tools, it will be also not smart to invest a lot of money when you start up in some sophisticated tools. For example, Oboard, even so, like Margo, she presented, they integrate into the Jira. Maybe you don't use the Jira at the beginning, but they have simple web version you can use. Could be also Excel or Google Spreadsheets or Notion. There are a lot of templates. It's free. Or Monday.com. Maybe just whiteboard, like Dima. You put one of the examples. Could be just simple whiteboard if you work together in one office or co-working space. I don't know, or just Word. Just keep it simple.
Okay, and this brings us to the end. We would like to get your feedback. I see people started to disconnect at 6 Central Europe time, but we would love to get your feedback for the ones who are still with us. Please put what are your takeaways on these stickers, what you liked or dislike about this webinar. We have in every month's webinar, you see like more /workshop. We are trying to engage you, not just talk. So please put it on the stickers. And then also you can grab a dot here and put on what is your return on investment. So you spend the most valuable thing you have in your life, your time, 1 hour, and then, you can put it where you think on return on investment. And then for the ones who has any questions, we can stay a bit and take these questions. And I will remove myself from the view where the feedback and dots on return investment, so you can be honest. So let's have just 1 minute for feedback. We would really appreciate it if you can share the feedback and put a return on investment, just 1 minute of your time, and then we can grab some questions if you have.
In the chat, I put the link to the right.
Any questions you would like to ask?
Just one question. Is there any webinar or meeting where we can have a look at tool? Because today we had a lot of strategic or things on meeting, and we didn't have the chance to have a look at the tool and how it can work with, or how it is aligned with that OKR thing.
Margo, can you send the link in chat where Johannes can book for a free demo of the tool?
Sure. Give me a second.
Yeah. So Johannes, you can book a free demo where it will be presented to you.
Perfect.
It's in the chat, so please copy it. Otherwise, when we disconnect, then we will not have access to the chat.
Done. Thanks.
Cool. Thank you all. Have a great eve or day if you are not in
Thank you.
Europe time zone.
Thanks, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.